Welcome to the Sailor Noob podcast, where a super fan and a noob talk about the original Sailor Moon episode by episode. I'm your host, Mikan Hana, joined by my co-host.
I'm the noob, the co-host, Caliban, and goodbye, Earth. Little spoiler in the title here.
Yeah.
Which we'll find out in a second.
Yes. And we're a couple of magical people ready to Moon Prism power make up this episode. Sailor Noob is brought to you by the Moon Kingdom. Today we are talking about episode number 33. Saigo no Seila Senshi Venusu Tojo in Japanese, Enter Venus, the Last Sailor Guardian, the English translation, and the English title, Sailor V Makes the Scene.
Hey, Sailor V's here.
What's up, everybody?
Venus Tojo. Tojo is soldier.
Yes. And Senshi also, which they are referred to a lot in the manga and probably the anime as well.
Yeah.
Are also is like soldier or warrior.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely going hard for that feel.
If your name is Tojo, do you just go into the military?
I don't know.
Because Tojo, the Prime Minister of Japan, short guy I hear, he started off in the army and then he, worked his way into politics and became the last Prime Minister of Japan. Not really, but of Imperial Japan for sure.
Yes.
And if your name is Tojo, you're kind of, let's call him President Muscles. Like, you're kind of setting him up for something, right?
Yeah, no, I think you definitely are. It's like your name, if your name was G.I. Joe or something like that, but...
I don't think that's a real name.
No, I suppose you're right.
That's not a real guy.
That's not the same thing.
I'm trying
to think, like, what is something, like, that we have that's, like, similar? Like, what is it, like...
Potter, Weaver.
No, you're right. Even, like, what about Smith? Was Smith, like, a smithy? Or
yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
So there you go. That is our equivalent over in the West,
and
I guess.
Johnson is the son of John.
Right, exactly.
A lot of Johns.
Super creative.
Yeah.
Lots of sons. All right. This has been a breakdown of names.
Yeah, we got to move on. We got a lot to cover.
Would you like to do a breakdown on the episode?
Yeah, at the beginning here, when Usagi's telling us what's going to happen in the episode, she says she's finally famous.
Yes.
Because, for reasons that we'll get into as we get into the episode. But I think that's kind of interesting because we never really see what the public thinks of Sailor Moon, but we get that in this episode.
We do.
The episode opens in the Dark Kingdom, and they're watching home movies. Beryl she's looking at some of Nephrite's greatest hits. Oh, too bad. Nephrite. And it's Dead Yoma after Dead Yoma, and she says, Zoisite, why are we watching this?
Yeah.
And Zoe points out that Sailor Moon always seems to be 1 second from dying, and then somebody helps her. This guy comes in. And Beryl says, yeah, you're talking about Tuxedo Mask. Right. Now, who is this guy? Mm-hmm. And Zoe says, well, we don't know, but we can use that. We put her in danger, and we wait to spring the trap. And Beryl says, yeah, and you got to get his 2 rainbow crystals. That's the most important part. You're on your last shot here, kid.
Yes.
I got a call from the Eternal Sleep store yesterday, and I'm going to lose my deposit. So you make this happen, or you put your Eternal Jammies on. And Zoe's like, yeah, okay, I got it. But Kunzite appears... And he's like, whoa, hold up a minute. You're going to need a plan to get Tuxedo Mask separated from the Sailor Guardians. That's when we strike. And I've got just the thing. And Beryl's like, whatever. I got to start planning the Great Ruler's welcome back party. So I don't care. Just get it done. And Zoe thinks to himself, I'm doing this all for you, Kunzite. I'd give my life for you. Love or maybe desire seems to be a real motivator for these like evil soulless baddies. And I think that's
Good
interesting.
Point. That is interesting.
Yeah, they have emotions.
Yeah.
As we saw with Nephrite. On the streets of Tokyo, a gunshot rings out. We see a man trying to rob a bank. Put the money in the bag.
Yes.
He's got a shotgun. Out of nowhere,
wow.
The gun is knocked out of his hands by a boomerang that returns to Sailor Moon. Except not. Mm-hmm. It looks like Usagi, but the color palette is darker. Like her blues are purple and her eyes are narrower, which is
yes,
that's what the Simpsons told us. Shifty eyes, not good. So this is not our girl Usagi Tsukino. The robber's like, "Who are you?" And we know she's not Batman because she doesn't say, "I'm Batman." But she wordlessly does a flip and kicks the guy right in his face. And now we know she's not Usagi because she didn't scream, "Sailor Moon kick."
Yeah, right.
So this is not our girl. The bank robber is down with a heel print on his face. We cut to the news where the newsman reports that the pretty guardian, Sailor Moon, arrested a bank robber. And Luna is sleeping in front of the TV. So that's who's been watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And she wakes up like, "What? No way. There's no way." Not like, wow, more like, there's no way that she would do that. Which is true, because we cut to Usagi devouring 2 ice cream cones with strawberry and kiwi fruit on them. And she's enjoying her day off from school with Mako, who is a baseball player, I guess? It's got a weird outfit.
Yeah, well.
We'll get to it.
Yeah.
Across the street, 2 window washers are doing their thing. Disaster is lurking. You've never seen a window washer in a movie or TV show. It never goes right.
No, that's true. A good point.
Through the window, we see a bookstore or a library, maybe, and in there is Mamoru. He's checking out some books. From somewhere, 4 green crystal shards come flying out, and they cut the ropes of the gondola. It's called a gondola. I don't know how I know that. Mamoru senses something's wrong, and the ropes snap, leaving the washers hanging for their lives, and the last shred of rope is about to tear. From the street, Mako and Usagi look on in horror and do something, but I guess they're not that kind of superhero. We really could use a Spider-Man right about now.
Yeah.
But fake Sailor Moon does do that kind of thing. She appears atop the building. She jumps off holding a rope, and she grabs the hand of one of the washers, swinging him to safety. The other guy was saved by the fire department or something. And the crowd goes wild. They're all like, "Yeah, Sailor Moon, woo!" But Mamoru is asking himself, did she intentionally cut those ropes? Mm-hmm. Those roppu?
Yeah.
In the crowd, Usagi is totally distraught. She says, "Why does it have to be Sailor Moon? What about my reputation?" But Mako says, "We got to find the other Sailor Scouts. We got to figure this out." We pan across the crowd, and we settle on a blonde girl in a fuku with a red bow in her hair, and at her feet is a white cat. Mm-hmm. So that's weird.
Yeah.
Across town, racing across the rooftops, is, let's call her Mariner Selene. And she's jumping across these rooftops. She's like a goddess when she does that. From another building, Kunzite watches, thinking, when the sailors and Tuxedo Mask come after her, I'll be waiting. Mm-hmm. And we see Mamoru searching for Mariner Selene in another part of town. We also see the girls talking about the new development. The girls all agree that it couldn't have been Usagi because she'd never worked that hard. Ami wants to know what the imposter is after, and Ray asks Luna if she could be the 5th guardian. And Luna's kind of evasive. She's like, "Well, I don't know about that." And Usagi's mad. We got to make her pay for using my name. Mm-hmm. A scream rips through the air, and the girls rush to find the source. It's Mariner Selene. They're on the docks or something now at this point.
Yeah, right.
Her hands are bound, and she's being hoisted up by a crane. And the girls see Kunzite for, I believe, the first time. And they guess that he is Team Dark Kingdom, because the epaulets and cape gave it away.
They finally have caught on to the dress code.
Yes. Usagi immediately rushes to help the girl, but Luna warns her this could be a trap. You think?
Yes.
So Usagi says, "Either way, I can't stand to see Sailor Moon like that. Everybody transform." And we get a 4-way transform. It's pretty glorious.
It is pretty great.
And I love the modular nature of the transforming song, the Prism Power makeup song, because they know exactly how many measures they need to get the whole team in costume. And you can kind of cut the song up because it kind of, you can tell it's not the whole song playing front to back, but the little sections all sort of lead into each other. And so we have an extra long kind of song as the girls all get together.
Yes.
And we go to a commercial. Coming back from commercial, Kunzite is getting philosophical. He looks around and he's like, "This pointless light is an eyesore. True beauty is the glow of darkness."
Great.
He's got
lines.
A lot of Bauhaus records at home.
Yeah, and very philosophical.
He wants to see the world covered in darkness by the Dark Kingdom, which is like the most information we've gotten on their quest so far. So maybe that's a problem. But enter Sailor Moon, accented by lightning. "Let that girl down, creepo," she says. And then Mercury, Mars, Jupiter. "I'll punish you to the fullest," she says. She's going to throw the book at him. Kunzite introduces himself, and he releases a globe of darkness, which seals the battlefield in, and Rafe tries to fire soul it to no effect. Then Sailor Moon yells, "You're useless, Sailor Mars." That was pretty great. Kunzite appears as an apparition, like a giant vision in the sky, and he drops red bombs on them. I don't know what those are supposed to be, but Jupiter hits the vision with some supreme thunder, but it's again absorbed, and Kunzite says, "Is that all you got?" And he begins contracting this sphere of darkness. He's going to crush the girls.
Yes.
It looks bad, but we hear the Tuxedo Mask theme, and he runs onto the scene. He sees the captive mariner Selene. With a leap, he cuts the rope, and he frees her, just as a lightning bolt fries the crane that she was on. I don't know if that was coincidence, or if that's another power that Kunzite has.
Yeah, unclear.
They have to sell this. And they land in a warehouse, and all seems well. However, the fake Sailor Moon smiles evilly to herself. She manifests a crystal shard, and she friggin' stabs TM in the back.
I know.
She leaps away, and her costume falls away to reveal Zoisite. Oh, man.
One of the best reveals
Hasn't it all been leading to this? Why don't you two make out already? This is really what you wanted, wasn't it? I think it's kind of cool that the fake Sailor Moon was in danger, but Tuxedo Mask wasn't summoned to the scene, as we've seen him do before. We kind of wonder how he gets around. But there's no Rose that just appears. He wasn't like ready for this. We specifically see him running for a while to get to where the fake Sailor Moon is. So that should have been a clue for him.
That he didn't get a call. There wasn't that connection.
He didn't.
There.
His tuxedo sense didn't go off.
I think you're right.
But it's too late now. Zoisite shoots a blast of petals at the wounded Tuxedo Mask, but he runs away to hide. And Zoisite creates he forms like a crystal sword.
Yes.
Which is pretty cool, and gives chase. Back at the Globe of Darkness, still closing in, Jupiter says, "Let me try something." This will work. And she calls a Supreme Thunder, but no good. It's still absorbed. A couple weeks ago, they were worried about being fried by the thunder, all being in an enclosed space.
Yes.
But they do it anyway. We're about to get Sailor Goulash, and Kunzite is ready to eat. In the warehouse, Zoe is running TM down, and he's cutting all the cargo with his sword, and he's making a huge mess as he's going through. He's just taunting him, basically. And Tuxedo Mask runs to escape the avalanche of crates, but Zoisite drops down on him with his sword, and Tuxedo Mask barely blocks it with his cane. He gets a face full of petals for his troubles, blows his mask off, and things look bad.
Yes.
In the Dark Kingdom, Beryl is watching the fight, and when she sees Tuxedo Mask's real face, she gasps.
Mm-hmm.
And Zoe is like, what a handsome face. But you still have to die. And his sword begins to glow. But we hear, "Crescent beam!" And a projectile flashes from the darkness, cutting Zoisite's hand and making him drop the sword. A little blood comes out there, too.
Yeah.
Standing in a window of the warehouse. I don't know what it is. It's like one of those barn windows where you how you pull the... But there's nothing up there.
No.
There's no hayloft, so whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway, it looks cool. In a window of the warehouse is a female figure. Zoisite turns to see the Tuxedo Mask has fled, and when he looks back at the girl, she's gone too. And he's like, "I'm so angry!"
Yes!
Back to the Globe of Darkness. Third time's a charm. The girls can't breathe. Zoisite appears to warn Kunzite that Tuxedo Mask and somebody else are running around nearby. And Kunzite says, "You let them escape?" And Zoe's like, "I'm just getting started. Check this out." And Tuxedo Mask is watching all this from behind a pillar, and he's putting his mask back on. And Zoisite yells, "Come out with the crystals or they die." And Usagi is struggling against this globe that's coming down, but she says, no, don't come out. But Tuxedo Mask indeed does reveal himself, and Zoisite says, "It's useless to struggle. It's pointless." But a female voice says, "No, you should never give up." And Luna says, "That voice!"
Yes.
And it's atop a building, of course, we see Sailor Venus. She says, "I'm here in time for my big entrance. Crescent beam." And she blows through both of Kunzite's hands, just like, pow, pow. Dropping the barrier. Sailor Moon says, "Sailor V, you're Sailor V, aren't you?" And a white cat with a moon on its forehead says, "Oh, yeah, it's my girl, Sailor V, also known as Sailor Venus. You know what time it is. Yeah, I'm a boy." This hype cat drops down and says, "Long time no see, Luna." And Luna says, "Artemis."
Yes.
A lot of information coming in right now.
Yeah.
Well, the DK boys are in trouble. Zoisite says, get out of here, Kunzite. I'll handle this. But we hear the voice of Queen Beryl tell them to stop. She appears in the sky and says, the situation has changed. Get back here. And they both disappear.
Did the scouts see her too?
I don't know.
Because that's what I want to know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Tuxedo Mask has also disappeared, and the girls meet Sailor Venus and Artemis. And she seems like a handful. And Usagi says, are you the Moon Princess? And V doesn't say anything.
Yep.
And that is the end. And it's kind of a cliffhanger.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes. It seems to be, that's where the story seems to be going. There's a lot. These next couple episodes, there's a lot to them.
She's got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby. She's got it.
I'm your Venus. I'm your desire.
Yeah. This reminds me, just the whole, existence or the whole appearance here of Sailor V reminds me of comics a lot.
Yeah.
I know this is all manga, but like the idea of a creator taking an old a character they made before and kind of folding them into a new book or thing that they've got going on.
Yes.
Somebody coming in sort of maybe as a mentor or already having experience, as doing what they do. And like something else I've wondered about is, so they've got to stop like these guys with capes and epaulets who can do crazy stuff and make monsters. But like, I guess that's just the kind of heroes they are. They're a very specific kind of hero. Like, I don't expect, she's got to go to school, so maybe she doesn't have time to stop purse snatchers and bank robbers, but you'd think that would be on the list of things to do, right?
Are you talking about
like
the scouts in general, or are you talking about Sailor V?
I'm talking about, Sailor V clearly does that. I mean, I think we've seen that before. But yeah, these girls are just focused, a cat tells them to kill monsters.
They're
and they
laser
do that.
focused on the Dark Kingdom.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So anyway, I just think that's cool about V. Like, her hook is that she's, a girl who is a superhero who is pretending to be a superhero. Like, she's Sailor Venus, but she fights crime as Sailor V.
Yes.
So she's got like a triple identity, which I think is really interesting.
It is.
And I'd also say I don't support it, but I can maybe understand a little better now why Deke did what they did in making Zoisite a girl. Because
we'll
the character always looks
it.
very feminine.
Yes.
Already. And then there's an episode where he literally dresses up like a girl.
I know.
So I can, I like the fact that he's not a girl, but selling something to like 8-year-olds,
Yes.
Clearly they wanted to streamline the message and not have a lot of talks with mom and dad.
Yeah, and I honestly, I think that was at the root of that decision.
Yeah.
So not that I necessarily agree with it, but I understand, that point of view. So.
Yeah. And I forgot to give my dumb bunny. I would say we don't get a lot of chance to see how dumb she can be, Usagi, but I give her a dumb bunny too, because intellectual property theft is a serious crime.
That's true.
And plus, as cowardly as we've seen her be, she's very brave in this episode. Maybe it's the bravery of indignation, but yeah, she just really goes after it, and she's willing to sacrifice herself rather than let Tuxedo Mask get hurt. And so, yeah, thumbs up as a hero.
Yes, absolutely.
Your Honor, a courtroom is a crucible. In it we burn away irrelevancies until we are left with a pure product, the truth, for all time.
Oh man, this is so intense. Data's on trial for his life.
I know. This episode, The Measure of a Man, is based on the Supreme Court's Dred Scott decision of 1857.
And every week on Backtracking, we take a look at the real-world events that inspired classic Star Trek episodes. Sorry. Shut up! Shh.
Who are you?
We're the hosts of Backtracking. I'm Caliban.
You will both be taken to the brig and from there to the nearest starbase, where you will answer charges for what you have done.
And I'm Gooey Fame.
This is not a game. This is life and death.
You can follow us on Twitter.
Backtracking is available wherever you listen to podcasts.
You go f*** yourself.
So today for Kyo Miru, Curiously Looking Around, where we talk about elements of Japanese culture within the episode, I thought we would talk about the neighborhood of Azabu-Juban, as well as the Japanese concept of jishoku. So Azabu-Juban is a district of Minato Ward in Tokyo.
Right.
It is, of course, the neighborhood where most of our sailors, scouts live and go to school. Primarily Usagi and her family, but I believe Naru lives there as well. And Ami goes to the same school, and so does Makoto, so we can guess that they live in the neighborhood too.
Yeah.
It is a neighborhood that was built centered around the Zenpuku-ji temple, which was established back in 824 AD. The community itself did not start to grow until the Edo period, which again was 1603 to 1868. In fact, many daimyos had their second homes in present-day Azabu-Juban. In 1962, the name was legally altered by reinstating the historical name that the community was commonly known by in the Edo period, which was Juban Kumi, which means approximately 10th group residence, or Juban 10th bridge. Juban means 10th or number 10, and Azabu means linen cloth.
So they go to
Japanese.
10 school? 10 junior high?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So in the English dub and in the English version of the manga, the neighborhood was called Crossroads because of the cross-like shape of the third kanji character in Azabu-Juban.
Huh.
It looks, I don't know what the kanji is, but it looks exactly like a cross. It looks a lot like a cross.
Across from where?
So that's why it's called that. Sure. With an old-fashioned ambiance that holds onto its Edo roots, this neighborhood has some of the most expensive rent in Tokyo. Azabu-Juban is an energetic residential area located in central Tokyo with a mixture of Japanese restaurants, bars, and stores. The closeness of Hiro, which is an upscale neighborhood in Tokyo, and Roppongi, which is a very popular place to go at night, make Azabu-Juban one of the more fashionable and desirable residential areas of Tokyo.
Okay.
Azabu-Juban Shopping District is a street that stretches from Azabu-Juban train station to Roppongi, so it's fairly long. The main thoroughway, which is only a block from a busy street intersection, almost feels like a village with cobbled street paving in some areas.
Huh.
This ambiance is generated by the slim streets, the unhurried traffic, and a variety of both modern shops and stores and restaurants that were started over 100 years ago.
That's interesting. So it's right around the time of it's post Meiji Restoration, but it's real. I mean, I don't want to pin it to this, but it's like kind of the westernization of Japan a little bit. Because when you think about, because we have districts like that. There's one in our city where it's like a shopping district, and there's shops, and everything's a little more old timey, or classic. Yes. And I guess we're sort of reaching back to like the Victorian era with street lamps and things like that.
I think you're right.
So I'm like, if you've got like a nostalgic district in Japan, like what is it even? It's not a bunch of paper houses and sliding doors and stuff.
I mean, I think the best example of that would be parts of
but it's kind
Kyoto.
But it's kind of the same thing because it's like cobblestone streets.
Right.
Street lamps. It's that like having gas instead of, whatever they had before,
right?
But not electricity, and then like brick streets because now you've got horses and carriages and things like that. So it's kind of the same thing.
It's very similar, yeah. I think we mentioned this on one of our previous episodes, but the current McDonald's in the neighborhood, which was the site of Crown Pachinko Hall, which is the real life inspiration for Game Center Crown. The building still maintains a lot of the architecture from the pachinko parlor, so it's considered to be very stylish.
This is something I've never asked, but like, is it video games instead of pachinko because of the 90s where was pachinko not popular, or is it video games are just more kind of nerdy and up the alley of the characters, or is it because pachinko parlors are still seen as an adult pastime because it's gambling?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And I think, you know, she wanted, when she was creating the character, she wanted Usagi and the other scouts to be very relatable. So, you know, she wanted them to play video games and be like, you know, modern day kids and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I think that was definitely the choice that was made there.
There's got to be a Sailor Moon pachinko machine, though.
I would not be surprised.
There has to be.
Honestly, I wouldn't be. Azabu-Juban also houses more than 20 embassies, making it a sought-after neighborhood for foreign citizens and diplomats to live. Azabu-Juban in mid-August holds one of the most well-known local summer matsuri, which means festival in Japanese, in Tokyo. The matsuri is held over 2 days on a weekend and features local and food vendors. In 2011, the matsuri was canceled due to the practice of jishoku, which means optional self-restraint, after the 2011 Tohuku earthquake. In fact, due to the Tohuku earthquake, Japan actually observed a national jishoku. The Japanese government requested that the people of Japan observe jishoku. Graduations and plans for Hanami parties or cherry blossom viewings where people observe usually the sakura blossoms, but sometimes ume or plum blossoms as well. And they have picnics underneath the trees. Yeah. Were called off across Japan. It is estimated that about half of the summer festivals across Japan were also called off. Sporting events, concerts, as well as wedding ceremonies were either delayed or called off. People shied away from going to bars and restaurants. Many gaming and electronic businesses stopped or postponed the manufacturing and release of their products, and new film releases were also delayed.
This is interesting because I'm just trying to think of America. We would never do this.
Yeah.
I mean, you might not feel like going out, you know, to the bar or out to eat or something like that, or to a festival, if there's some kind of tragedy has happened or some kind of, you know, event or something like that. Mm-hmm. But I remember, like, I used to sing, there's a karaoke night at a local bar that a lot of theater people went to. Okay. And it was every Wednesday. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I think I was there like September 12th or 13th or whatever it was.
Okay, sure.
So, like, you know, we still went out.
Right.
And we're just like, wow, that's all we talked about. September 11th. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, the fact that they're just like, this is not a time for gaiety.
Yeah.
Shut it all down.
Yeah. So to get into it a little bit more, jishoku is a Japanese concept that when you are grieving, you should not have fun or celebrate anything. The idea is to convey remorse and a sentiment of responsibility. Yeah. And I think it's, you know, you kind of, you know, if it's a national thing, if it's like a, you know, a national disaster or something like that, you feel horrible for the people that it has directly affected. Yeah. So then I think the basic concept is, because they're having such a hard time right now, we should not go out and have fun.
Yeah, I totally get it. I just think it's funny that they can apply it and enforce it. They probably don't even have to enforce it. People are just like, it is not time for fun.
Right.
And everything just sort of shuts down.
It's just kind of understood, I
think.
But
we would just never, we throw parties because bad things happen in America.
I know. It is also considered to be in bad taste if you indulge in promoting yourself during a period of grieving. Huh. This encompasses invasive sale approaches and promotional exploits. It is best practice to moderate profit making in general while grieving. In shopping areas, it has been noticed that some electrical signs are turned off during times of jishoku. Jishoku does not always apply to a group of people. It can be a personal choice to observe it as well. You know, if somebody passes away. I mean, I think that most people, if somebody close to you passes away, you have, you know, time to grieve, and like you might not want to go do certain things. Yeah. But yeah. But it's just kind of interesting that it can be applied to groups, but also personally. And from what I read, in modern Japan, it has been debated if the concept of jishoku is always a good thing or not. If a country is struck by a natural disaster or some other loss, is it a good thing for a struggling economy to choose to refrain? Or does it just hurt the economy further? I think is kind of the question.
So,
you know,
I wouldn't expect this practice to live another 50 years. Go out and spend, shop. The most important thing is to keep the economy going.
Well, right. I know. But like, there were, I guess, when the Tohuku earthquake happened, there were some companies who were trying to find like loopholes, like support this company that was directly affected, you know,
Sure.
or that sort of thing. Whereas normally that would be
calling
kind of...
for donations, like for like Fukushima victims or something like that.
Sure.
Or, I mean, that's probably fine, right?
I would think that would be fine.
No, this is not the time to support the victims. If we support the victims, are they still victims?
Oh my gosh. Yes. The answer is yes. Itadakimasu with Usagi. What did Usagi eat in this episode? So, you said that she ate ice creams. I do need to, actually clarify that a little bit.
Yeah, I saw your brow darken when I said that.
She was actually eating, Japanese crepes.
More.
I will get to it. So, as we know, crepes come from France and they're very thin pancakes, but they became a popular street food in Japan in the late 1970s and remain popular to this day. No one knows precisely how crepes came to Japan. However, they first emerged in Tokyo's Harajuku, Shibuya area as a street food.
How did these crepes get in here?
Okay, all right, I guess that sounds kind of funny. Japanese-style crepes have become popular all over Japan, but Harajuku is still known to have the most accumulation of Japanese crepe shops in the country, especially on Takashita Street. Some vendors in Harajuku sell over 100 different varieties of crepes.
So this is just like, we'll put anything in it.
Yeah,
Broccoli.
I mean,
Broken glass.
I'll get to some of the common fillings and that sort of thing. So Japanese crepes are made similarly to French crepes. One major difference is that Japanese crepe batter tends to use less butter than their French counterpart. Japanese crepe vendors have a large round cooking surface where they can drop a ladle full of crepe batter, smooth the batter out very thin and evenly on the surface
Batter.
with a tool that is like a crepe squeegee or batter spreader.
I can picture it.
Until it covers the whole surface, making sure that the batter is very evenly distributed. Then with a long metal spatula, they lift the edges of the crepe carefully and flip it, and then place the crepe on the secondary round surface for filling it. Japanese crepes tend to be around 12 inches in diameter. The most important part of filling the crepe is you must make sure that you only place the filling on the top half. The filling is often placed in a V shape, as the crepe will eventually get folded into that shape. Once the filling is done, the crepe gets folded in half lengthwise, then folded several other times until it is in the shape of a cone. Then more filling is added so the crepe is full. A paper covering in the shape of a cone gets placed over the crepe so it's easier to eat.
Okay.
Usually you also have the option of using a spoon to eat your crepe. Japanese crepes can be served either sweet or savory. Most sweet variations of Japanese crepes have a generous base of either fresh whipped cream or nama kurimu in Japanese, or custard. Fresh cut fruit is a very popular filling. Strawberries and bananas are the most popular. Other commonly used fresh fruit are kiwi, yellow peaches, blueberries, mangoes, apples, mikan, tangerines, and grapes. Usagi, of course, is eating a strawberry and whipped cream crepe, as well as a crepe with whipped cream and kiwi. We don't get a good look at what Mako is eating.
Mm-hmm. Probably peanuts and Cracker Jack.
Because of her baseball hat. Ice cream is another popular filling. Many different varieties, but vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, and matcha are the most popular. There are a lot of different other options that you can put in your crepe, including nuts, cookies, macaroons, bite-sized pieces of cheesecake, brownies, chocolate cake, different sauces like chocolate sauce, caramel, Nutella, strawberry jam, kuromitsu syrup, which is a traditional Japanese syrup made with black sugar.
Whoa.
Matcha powder, azuki beans, and shirotama dango, which is a kind of mochi.
I think that was a Pam Grier movie, right? Black Sugar. Do they sing when they make them? That's what I need to know.
Thankfully.
Okay, I'll take one.
No.
I'll take two.
Yes. Sweet crepes are the most popular option in Japan, but savory crepes are another way to go. The savory crepe is sometimes called snack crepes in Japan.
Okay.
Most savory crepes have a base of spinach and some kind of cheese, typically cream cheese, smeared on the crepe. The next ingredient is usually a protein. Common protein options are ham, shrimp, boiled chicken, or tuna salad. A second ingredient is typically cucumber, a hard-boiled egg, potato salad, or shredded cheese. Some sort of savory sauce is usually used to finish off the crepe. Sauce options are teriyaki sauce, Japanese curry sauce, Japanese mayonnaise, salsa, or pizza sauce.
Okay, all right. Let's back out of this one.
I don't understand the pizza sauce.
It's just like folding a piece of pizza into a cone.
Yeah, pretty much.
Whoa. I have an idea for the State Fair next year.
I like it.
I need some seed money.
My Heart is a Kaleidoscope, where we talk about fashion and Sailor Moon. What the heck are they wearing? Episode 33. I was going to talk about what the bank robber is wearing, but I think I'm going to skip it because it's silly. But he is wearing, we did mention a couple episodes ago that sometimes a lot of people don't wear sunglasses in Japan because they're associated with bad guys.
Yeah.
He's wearing sunglasses.
Sure, right.
I did want to mention, though, the bank teller uniforms. The female tellers were wearing a dark green pencil skirt and vest, a long sleeve button-up shirt with green stripes, brown bows at the collar, and name tags. And the male banker teller, or perhaps manager, was wearing a dark green suit coat, long sleeve white button-up shirt, and a red tie. So these corporate uniforms for workers are very common in Japan in different establishments, especially for female workers.
Okay.
Some companies that are not customer-facing have had employees wear uniforms in the past, but this trend has largely been done away with so as to cut cost, cut additional cost.
So like American banks, just dress nice.
Well, if it's not customer facing, a lot of the customer facing companies still have uniforms. Uniforms in Japan are viewed as a sign of professionalism, and employees in Japan generally view them as a plus instead of an inconvenience.
Okay.
So then we got evil or imposter Sailor Moon. It is actually referred to as Nisei Sailor Moon, which means an imitation or fake in Japanese. She was wearing, of course, a very similar fuku costume to the real Sailor Moon. And the main difference is the red parts of the real Sailor Moon's outfit with the bow at the collar and at the back of the skirt and the knee-high boots. And the ribbing embellishment on the gloves, instead of being red, are purple. Also, Evil Sailor Moon uses a light blue boomerang, perhaps instead of her tiara, which I thought was kind of weird.
Yeah, you don't have the Sailor Moon power, so, if you throw the tiara, it just blonk, hits the ground, and that's it.
I think it's interesting. They actually, at least at some point, they have sold Nisei Sailor Moon figures.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So this is a thing that people actually want.
You can tell by the stubble.
Yeah.
What did you say? Nisei, like Nisei?
Yeah, or Nise.
Oh, okay. Because I was thinking of, I guess I don't know how it's pronounced. Nisei, I thought it was, but
Nise, I guess would be it.
Okay, which are Japanese kids who are born outside of Japan.
Oh, okay. Now I'm wondering, because that would be, I hope that's not the same thing because
Well,
it
it's
means imitation or fake. So I really hope that's not the same
Well,
thing.
who knows? But it's based off of, Ichi-ni-san, like it's second generation.
Oh, okay. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Interesting. Oh, I never heard that before. Then we see Usagi and Mako in their streetwear. Usagi is wearing a light green button-up shirt with pockets and brass buttons, a jean jacket, a long light pink skirt with matching light pink bows by her buns, and white socks and brown shoes. And we have Mako's outfit, as you talked about before,
Yeah.
which is she's wearing a yellow t-shirt and what looks like to me a leather jacket, like a bright orange leather jacket with an orange hood and then light orange sleeves and accents, white drawstrings, and some sort of yellow crest. I'm not even really sure what it's supposed to be. And then a dark green baseball hat for some reason that has no logo.
We get it. You're a tomboy.
And then she's wearing white tennis shoes and yellow socks. Got a lot of actually really great fashion in this. Ray is wearing an orange turtleneck shirt, an aqua jacket that is fastened at the bottom, a dark blue short skirt, and knee-high light yellow boots.
So nise, knee-high, nise. Sorry, just writing this all.
Right,
Gotta write it down.
just to bring it all back. Yeah. And then Ami is wearing a white blouse with a dark blue bow at the collar, a pink cardigan also fastened at the bottom, a long light yellow skirt, white socks, and brown shoes with bows on them. And then we meet Sailor Venus, and her Sailor Venus costume is different from her Sailor V costume. So I don't think we've really talked about any of their sailor costumes before in their fashion.
When they're sailors?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I don't think we have. I mean, no, we have a little bit. Like Ray's got high heels. Jupiter has lace-ups.
Lace-up boots. Yes.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting that when she appears and jumps down, she, reveals. That's why she's like a superhero who's pretending to be a superhero. She takes her goggles off or whatever.
Yeah,
she's
right.
Like, I'm Sailor Venus.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I think it's interesting because she's the only scout who has 3 different colored bows. Like the bow at her collar is like a dark blue. The one in her hair is bright red. And the one at the back by her skirt, I've heard it looks yellow to me. I've heard it described as being like light orange.
The Japanese color conspiracy.
Yeah, well, apparently Nako Takeuchi wanted it to be light orange. So
well, she had to do something. I expect that we'll probably really dive into talking about Sailor V next week, but she had to do something because in her original incarnation she just had like Sailor Moon's colors, basically, right? And so she had to go, what are we missing here? Let's make her orange or whatever.
Right. And that's what I wanted to talk about her Sailor V costume a little bit because we do get a flash of that when it's revealed that this is Sailor Venus. So it is different from her Sailor Venus costume, and there are some slight differences from the manga, but in general, her skirt is dark blue with a bright red trim at the bottom and a dark blue bow in back. Her shirt is mostly white, but the paneling on the sides of the shirt are bright red, and that only goes about halfway on her shirt. And then she has dark blue sailor collar with white stripes and a red bow at her collar with an orange button. At her shoulders, she has armor that covers and goes past her shoulders by about a couple of inches. Yeah. Her Sailor V outfit is a shirt and not a leotard, as the Sailor Scout costumes appear to be. Yeah. And her midriff is actually showing slightly. She has a white choker with a yellow moon on it, long white gloves, and the ribbing embellishments on the gloves are bright orange. a bright red hair bow, and a dark blue high heels with a strap at the ankle. Last but not least, as Sailor V, she has a red mask that she wears, which is similar to Tuxedo Mask's with some winged embellishments at the temples.
Yeah.
So
It's the same thing. It's just like Tuxedo Mask's a domino. It doesn't hide anything, but
no,
he's running around and his mask falls off. And it's
his face is revealed.
Oh.
Yeah, now I know who you are.
She took these basically like these huge Sally Jesse Raphael glasses off, and it's like, oh my God, you're
Yes.
Clark Kent?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Villain gauge, where you rate a baddie 1 to 5 dark stars, 5 being the most wicked. There's not a Yoma this week.
Yeah.
We just have Zoisite and Kunzite, who are still pretty fierce.
So
and
I think this one's rained out.
Well, I did have something else I wanted to talk about.
Sure.
Of course, we do have Zoisite as the evil imposter Sailor Moon, which is pretty cool and a great reveal.
Yeah.
But
I mean, we can't do a 6, so I don't think we should rate him.
No, exactly. I know, right? I want to draw little hearts all around Zoisite because of he is like one of my favorite bad guys, I think.
It definitely is a climb in quality. Sorry, Jadeite, and so
yeah, sorry, Jadeite.
you know, if Kunzite ever actually does anything, I bet it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, right. So I'd like to do a little something called Dark Kingdom Aku no Joho, or Evil Information, Part 1.
Okay.
So, in the Deke dub, the Dark Kingdom is called the Negaverse.
Huh.
It is a combination of the words negative and universe.
Yeah, right.
I don't know why they changed it, because it's Dark Kingdom, but they felt the need to change it.
Well, it's a little flair, I guess.
I guess.
I mean, isn't the whole point there's like a moon kingdom and a dark kingdom?
Yes.
So is the moon kingdom the bright verse or something like that?
Not really.
Yeah. Maybe they just didn't want... I know that they are opposed to each other, but maybe they didn't want to just repeat the name, you know?
Maybe.
It's like having, you know... Well, I guess you've got Minas Tirith and Minas Morgul, so right there. The Shire and Mordor. Like, you can tell those two apart pretty easily.
I guess they didn't want any confusion at all. The Negaverse baddies use nega as a prefix to words to demonstrate their faithfulness to wrongdoing and to accentuate their dimension's innate negativity. Some examples that they use are nega power and nega history.
Check out this nega crystal I'm going to stab you with.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's get some Nega-lunch when this is over.
In the dub, the Dark Ruler is referred to as the Nega Force.
Wow.
In the Deke dub as well, instead of being called Yoma, the Negaverse refers to the monsters as their servants, while Tuxedo Mask and the Scouts call them monsters, or occasionally Nega monsters.
Nega monsters.
Yes.
It's not enough that they're monsters.
They're Nega
They're
monsters.
Nega monsters. They come out and they're like, yeah, your hair's all right.
I know, right?
No,
it's just
I'm
like
losing my power.
sweet disses, like all the time. Yeah. So I wanted to talk a little bit about Queen Beryl and her character design and her outfit. She has pointy ears, her teeth are sharp and look like fangs. She has a yellow horn on each shoulder. She is very tall and slender. Her fingernails are long, pointy, and painted bright red. And she has long, bright, wavy hair.
The sclera of her eyes kind of yellowy too.
Yeah, I think that they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she just looks evil. She wears a long, dark purple dress with a diamond cutout between and below her breasts. The purple fabric over her breast is cut in the shape of similar to a comma.
Try to say breast one more. Let's go for the hat trick.
I know. And underneath is a black fabric shaped like 2 black crescent moons with the points facing upwards.
Pointing at her breasts.
No. She wears a silver armband and a matching silver choker, both with big purple jewels in the center. She has large, dangly aqua teardrop earrings with a crisscross pattern on them and a black tiara that looks like a boomerang with a black jewel in the center and a matching aqua teardrop a matching aqua teardrop jewel on the top of that with a crisscross pattern. And of course, she has a long gray staff that looks like it has claws at the top of it, and it is holding a large black orb, and she can see things in her orb.
Yeah, big thumbs up from Heidi and Tim on this one, I think.
I know,
it's pretty strong.
In the original anime, Queen Beryl is voiced by voice actress Keiko Han, who also voiced Luna.
Oh, okay.
While recording, Han would switch between the very different voices of sweet, higher-pitched Luna and the lower evil tones of Queen Beryl, and this made the cast erupt into giggles. In our segment, Sabu or Dubu, where we talk about the differences in the sub or dub, the Usagi opening segment was cut from the dub. The flashback of the battle that ended with Nephrite's death was cut in the dub. In the original anime, Usagi and Mako notice a girl and a cat in the crowd. This close-up was cut in the dub. Yeah. In the dub, the name of Sailor Jupiter's attack, Supreme Thunder, is changed to Jupiter Thunder Crash. Later in the episode, in the dub, they refer to the same attack as Jupiter Thunderbolt Crash. I don't know why.
So it's Thunder Crash all the time?
It's Jupiter Thunder Crash or Jupiter Thunderbolt Crash.
Yeah,
They changed some of the attack names.
That's weird. All right.
It is. In the dub, with the scene where the imposter Sailor Moon stabs Tuxedo Mask, it is shortened. The dub does not actually show the imposter Sailor Moon stabbing him in the shoulder. Just the movement is kept. For some reason, however, the actual stabbing was left intact in the pre-episode preview, which makes no sense. In the dub...
That's just like cutting the episode where Umino slaps Miss Haruna on the butt. And then, remember that time that Umino was acting all crazy? And just like having it in the preview.
Yeah, exactly. Again, in the dub, the name of Sailor Venus's attack is changed from Crescent Beam to Venus Crescent Beam Smash. Again, in the dub, they later refer to the same attack as Venus Crescent Beam. So they can't get everything right here.
I'm assuming they take all the blood out too.
Actually, I think for the most part, they kept that in. I don't know. So yeah. The Deke dub alters Zoisite and Kunzite's plan. From a plan in the original anime, the plan was basically to entrap Tuxedo Mask, and in the dub, it changed to where the Sailor Scouts will be trapped and held in exchange to get the rainbow crystals that Tuxedo Mask has.
Okay, just
a slightly different change there. The dub also takes out Zoisite's line about being willing to die for Kunzite. In the dub, when asked if Sailor Venus is the Moon Princess, instead of just smiling as she did in the original, she says, "I don't know."
Okay, see, now we could have used that in the original. Instead of just like, just smiling. Episode's over, and then there's a man's voice like, "No, the episode's over." There's dub in somebody else. Pucci died on the way back to his planet.
I think they were going for ambiguity, but I do get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
This is the final episode that has the beginning introduction that Usagi does to present herself for the audience. There was at least one American promo commercial for Sailor Moon that used a clip of the footage of the imposter Sailor Moon for episode 33.
Okay.
So from what I get from that, it sounds like to me like they use that imposter clip as like promo for just Sailor Moon, not specifically this episode.
That's like having a rose come down and then we cut to Tuxedo Umino Mask.
Yeah, right.
It doesn't.
Exactly. Let's rate the episode. I love that we get an evil Sailor Moon and that it turns out to be Zoisite. I think that's a really cool reveal. I think that Sailor Venus makes a really strong entrance. I enjoyed this episode. I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 roses.
Yeah, I got to give it 4 too. I mean, it could be a 5, I suppose, but you can't give those out too much.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think
that's what I'm thinking.
An episode where Sailor V appears should be a 5, right?
Yes.
V.
Yeah.
5.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah, anyway. But no, 4. Solid. Definitely leading somewhere. If it's a cliffhanger, I'm wondering if we're getting into like more serialization.
I think the short answer, yes.
Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, I figure it is. But with your winning ways, loose lips sink a lot of ships. As far as you're concerned, you're the Pearl Harbor of not being able to keep secrets.
That's
so
not fair.
Can't
I'm
wait for
better
more
than
serialization. Yeah, I give it a 4 too.
Okay, and then for our English title, I actually have 2 this time. My first is Look Out! Fake Scout!
All right.
And my second one is Sinister Trickster.
Sinister Trickster.
Yes.
Twisted Sister Trickster.
Yes.
Twisted Trickster. Saved by the V.
I like it.
It doesn't make any sense, but if that's Deke would be like, sure.
Well done.
Yeah.
Yes,
Let's go
exactly.
Let's get crepes.
Next episode, we are talking about episode number 34. Hikari kagayaku ginzu isho, tsuki no princesu tojo in Japanese. The shining silver crystal, the moon princess appears, the English translation, and the English title, A Crystal Clear Destiny.
Wow. Somebody was gunning for a raise. Somebody's working a little overtime there.
Yeah, a little bit. Well, that's our show for this week, and the Name of the Moon will be punishing you next week with another episode of Sailor Noob.
Yeah, I'm a boy.